Hello there, good afternoon, and welcome to Hotspot on your number one online television channel, CTV. My name is Wisdom Chumba, aka The Principal Thing, and I'm here to serve you all the fresh updates coming from the world of sports. Yes, I've got interesting information from the world of football as well as basketball, because the Wimbledon is currently going on, and then I'm just going to give you other updates coming from other sports as well. So it's a bumper package on today's show. Do well to stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit. Alright, once again, welcome back to Hotspots on your number one online television channel, CTV. Yes, my name still remains Wisdom Chimoba. You can call me the Principal Thing, yes, because when I talk, my word is authority. Yes, I say that with all sense of boldness. So yes, let's get down straight to today's business. We're going to start off from football, where I would be telling you it's not really news per se, because we know that the Euro 2024 is getting towards the closing stages. Yes, we saw the first semi-final match yesterday by 8 p.m. That was between that was between Spain rather and France. Tonight we'll be seeing England take on the Netherlands in Germany. Yes, so Spain defeated France by 2-1. That game was a very interesting game. In fact, it was a game that for the neutral, it was exhilarating, and then for the fans, it was painful for the fans. That's talking about the fans of France as well as the fans of those that were supporting the French national team, because a whole lot of people had France. This is in terms of the paper guys. Some people went for France, but for those that stuck to the La Roja, that's talking about the Spanish national team, they were the ones smiling. Lamine Yamal making the headlines for all of the right reasons. I'm talking about the 16-year-old wonder kid playing for Barcelona. Lamine Yamal, he scored an absolute stunner yesterday after France took the lead in the 9th minute through Randall Colomwani, and Lamine Yamal from about 30 yards out, struck a wonderful left-footed strike to equalize for Spain, and then Dani Olmo, blasted another shot 4 minutes later around the 25th minute, and the ball took a deflection of Julius Koundé of France and ended up into the back of the net. All of these goals were scored in the first half, but Spain managed to hold their ground and held on to that scoreline and eventually got it over the line, and that was how the game ended 2-1 in favor of Spain. Funny enough, that game, in terms of possession, Spain had more possession, because we know, the Spanish side are used to tiki-taka football, keeping the ball, on the ground and to themselves. But France, surprisingly, created more chances. They had 9 shots compared to Spain's 6, and they had 3 on target compared to Spain's 2. But Spain managed to do what was important by putting the ball into the back of the net. France missed quite a lot of chances yesterday, and Kylian Mbappe was among them. But it is what it is. It's happened, and Spain have made it through to the final. A whole lot of people tipped them at the start of this tournament, to get to the final, and they haven't really disappointed. And talking about the next game, that is England taking on the Netherlands tonight. I wonder what your prediction for that game is. Well, the Three Lions, they seem to be finding this bit of resurgence nowadays. Their last game was a bit of an encouragement for the fans, and hopefully, for the Dutch, there's a certain top scorer of the tournament, talking about Cody Gakpo, who is in red hot form. That's the Liverpool man, and we wonder if tonight he might step up again. But that is left for you and I to wonder, and hopefully the game gets to deliver, just like Spain versus France. And now we'll go over to Copa America, where the defending champions have made it through to the final. Yes, I'm talking about Argentina. Lionel Messi stepping up yesterday. They defeated Canada by 2-0. That is Argentina defeating Canada by 2-0. Julian Alvarez in the 22nd minute and Lionel Messi in the 51st minute for Argentina to book their spot in the final of the Copa America 2024. Well, they are the defending champions, and you would expect that they put up a good show, and that is what they've done so far. That game was very, very close. It was very, very close because Canada gave a good account of themselves in that game. They didn't let Argentina play, to their full strength, but nonetheless, Argentina managed to get it over the line. In terms of possession, it was very close, 51-49. That is in terms of Argentina had 51% of the possession compared to Canada's 49. But shots at goal, it was very close with Canada having 9 shots. Surprisingly, Canada had 9 shots in that game, and just 2 were on target. But Argentina, despite having lesser shots, managed to find 3 on target. But in football, converting your chances is what really makes the difference, and Argentina did that, and they managed to make it through to the final. So they get to face the winner of Uruguay versus Colombia. That game would be going down later tonight as well. So Uruguay versus Colombia, whoever gets to win that game would face Argentina in the final, and the loser of that match would play Canada in the 3rd place. So that is how it stands, in these 2 competitions. And I wonder what you make of these 2 competitions so far. The 2 competitions, that's talking about the Copa America as well as the Euro 2024. Do well to drop your comments and tell me what you think about these games so far. So we are going to go on a quick break, and once we come back from this break, we'll be switching over to tennis, where there's a whole lot going on. The Wimbledon currently going on in London, and we are set for a very interesting semi-final and final in the Wimbledon. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in a bit. Alright, Lagos, once again, welcome back to Hotspot on your number 1 online television channel, CTV. Do not forget that this show is sponsored by the Adama Sule Foundation, and I remain your host, Wisdom Chimoba, aka the Principal Fin. Okay, now we'll be going over to the world of tennis, where the Wimbledon, like I said before we went on the break, is currently on in London. And we are set for the semi-final. Yes, the quarter-final matches, or the quarter-final games rather, have gone down, and one more would go down tonight. That is talking about Taylor Fritz and Musetti. That game will be going down today, the final quarter-final game. Yes, and before we get to the semi-final, yesterday we saw 2 quarter-final games go down, and that was between Carlos Alcaraz and Tommy Paul, and then world number 1 Yannick Sinner taking on Daniel Medvedev. Just to give you how the scoreline rather, or the result from that game. Well, Carlos Alcaraz defeated Tommy Paul in a 4-set game. That game ended 5-7, 6-4, 6-2, 6-2 in favor of Carlos Alcaraz, who has booked the spot in the semi-final, and he will be coming up against world number 5 and Daniel Medvedev, who surprisingly defeated world number 1 Yannick Sinner in a thrilling 5-set match. Yes, that game ended 7-6, 4-6, 6-7, 6-2, 3-6 in favor of Daniel Medvedev. That game was a very close one because both men were not willing to let go as they went for it tooth and nail, but at the end of the day, Daniel Medvedev managed to triumph. And then moving over to the next quarter-final game. That was it was a walkover for Novak Djokovic, who, fortunately for him, the opponent was supposed to face, that's talking about Alex de Minaur, he had an injury, and for that reason, he was given a walkover. Yes, so Novak Djokovic has booked the spot already in the semi-final. Yes, he has booked the spot in the semi-final. I'm going to be giving you updates coming from the women's single as well as the double. But for the Minaur, the injury sustained, by the way, was at the end of the fourth round victory he got over Otto Fields on Monday. So that is the reason Novak Djokovic got that walk over. So Novak Djokovic, hopefully whoever wins between Taylor Fritz and Musetti would get to face Novak Djokovic in the semi-final. So that is how it stands in the men's single. And then talking about well, just to give you one tiny bit of information as well from that game, that's talking about Novak Djokovic and Alex de Minaur. It's the case of where you say this life no balance, because it was two different stories for these two men. For Alex de Minaur, it was a devastating one. It's a sad story, but for Novak Djokovic, it was a good one for him due to the fact that he made another record for Alex de Minaur. According to him, his statement said, I'm devastated, but had to pull out due to a hip injury. It's no secret that it was the biggest game of my career. But for 7-time world champion or Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic, he made it through to a 13th semi-final at the Wimbledon, which meant that he has he has matched the record of Roger Federer. So you can see two different stories, but in one semi-final match, like I said earlier, this life no balance, but all you just hope for the best on a good day. I'm now moving over to the women's single, where Yao Palini defeated Navarro 6-2, 6-1 in the first quarterfinal, and then we have Vekic, who defeated Rodovkic, yes, in the second quarterfinal. And then we also have Elena Rybakina, who today defeated Vitolina 6-3, 6-2, and then we have Regikova, who defeated Ostapenko 6-4, 7-5. So that is how it stands in the women's single. So the semi-final match is set, that will be going down tomorrow in the women's single. So Elena Rybakina will be taking on Regikova, and then Vekic will take on Paolini. These games would go down tomorrow. So for you out there, the tennis lover, these updates are for you to have an idea of what to expect. And then I would be concluding with the men and women single, just to give you a rundown of the results of those games and tell you what to expect in the semi-final, and then we call it a wrap on today's show. So for the first quarter-final, it ended 7-6, 7-6 in favor of Kupsi and Venus, who took on Jebens and Frenton. And then the second quarter-final, we saw Granolas and Hebalos in their partnership defeat Poods and Krawitz 6-4, 7-6. And then moving over to the third semi-final, where Patton and Elovera defeated Arevelo and Pavic in a 3-set interesting quarter-final match. It ended 4-6, 7-6, 7-6, and then the final quarter-final game went down between Purcell and Thompson in that partnership, taking on Motelni and Gonzalez. It ended 6-4, 6-7, 6-3. And now moving over to the women's single, for the quarter-final as well, it ended the partnership of Mertens and Hesse defeated Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula. That was a surprising one, by the way, because we know Coco Gauff and Pegula are two strong names when it comes to the women's tennis, but surprisingly their partnership just wasn't good enough, or didn't turn out to be good enough, as they lost surprisingly 6-2, 6-1. And then moving over to the next quarter-final game, we had Dohard and partner with Krozik, and they defeated Tabos and Kinnock. It ended 1-6, 6-2, 6-2, and moving over. So today, the other quarter-final games that will be going down, we'll have Siniakova and Townsend in that partnership taking on Kinnock and Ostapenko, and then we have Jezikova and Sigmund taking on Dabrowski and Rootleaf. Yeah, Rootleaf. Beg your pardon for that name. We know some of these names sometimes can be tongue twisters, but guys, really, I have to say that is just the tiny bit of updates I've got for you coming from the world of football as well as tennis. I hope you've had a good time listening to the show, and because I myself as well have had a good time giving you this information. Yes, because that is what we do. We are here to serve you fresh information and make sure that you are abreast with what is going on in the world of sport. Well, that is the size of the package. I've been your host, Wisdom Chimumba, aka the principal thing. But do not forget Proverbs 4 verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. Goodbye.